Which brings us to the Dallas Cowboys, who yesterday told us they're not firing any coaches. Do you know why? Because we had an awesome year. Because we did incredible things. Because we believe we're on the right path, and we're not that far off. And if you didn't think that they thought they're on the right path, here's Jerry Jones talking about Jason Garrett.
If Jason had been out on the market 2 weeks ago, he would have had 5 offers for head coaching. I know that. So you've got to look at what your alternative is. When I look at what our coaching staff and how it's evolved, I give it a good grade.
Like there's this, get rid of Rod Marinelli. Oh, okay. What Jerry Jones is talking about, a lot of times, guys go on the radio, owners, GMs, coaches, quarterbacks, and they say nothing. That was real talk right there. All right, you want me to fire Jason Garrett? Who are you going to hire? Oh, you're going to hire Lincoln Riley, who's been a head coach in college football for exactly 2 seasons. How does that work out? Oh, we're going to run the air raid offense. We have Dak Prescott as our quarterback. Guess what? He's not an air raid quarterback, bro. He ain't throwing it 40 times a game. And we don't even know if that works in the National Football League. Let alone the leadership and who he's going to hire on defense and what does he do with the rest of the coaching staff. You ask anybody in the NFL, especially quarterbacks, what's the biggest determinant in your success? And they'll say continuity. I got to know, for Dak Prescott, I got to know where everybody is supposed to be. Think about this season. You think about it and you're like, man, they got their asses kicked by the Rams, 30-22. All right, they lost by 8 points. That's a touchdown, a 2-point conversion. And we would all concur that the Rams have an outstanding roster, right? The Rams are top-loaded. The Rams are win this year. Whereas the Cowboys, they got a lot of youth. Young quarterback, young running back, young linebackers, young defensive line. A lot of youth. They lost their center for the year to start the season to an autoimmune disorder, right? That did happen. They lost Tyron Smith, who's probably the best offensive lineman in the NFL during the season. Sean Lee was in and out of the lineup. I know it's Sean Lee. He's always in and out of the lineup, but he is their leader defensively. And they went half the year without a number one wide receiver. And once they got him and they figured out who they were and what they were pretty good. This is the same team that reeled off 5 consecutive wins, ended the season winning 6 out of 7, beat the Eagles on the road, swept the Eagles, beat the Eagles on the road while sweeping them, and beat the Saints as well, a team that's still playing. They weren't beating rummies. They weren't beating the bottom of the league. And what Jerry Jones is saying is completely true. Hey, here's how you know if somebody's good. If I was to fire him, he's going to get hired immediately. Probably means I shouldn't have fired him. And, oh, yeah, by the way, if I don't have a definitive, here's who I'm going to go to, why just fire a guy? And when you consider they were 3-5, they made one trade and turned around their fortunes. Dak got better. Zeke got better. Defense got better. Offensive line figured out, got better. And they did win a playoff game and lost to a team that was picked by many to compete for and win a Super Bowl. Like, we could get caught up in, hey, they lost their last game. Okay. Could their offense have been more explosive? Sure. But what are your alternatives? Everybody wants to change quarterbacks. Okay, if you change quarterbacks, and I'm not saying with the Cowboys, but other teams, let's get rid of this quarterback. Who are you going to get to replace him? It's the reason that Matt Stafford is always going to be overpaid. You can get rid of Matt Stafford. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL, but you do have to find somebody to replace him. The Bills have been searching for 30 years since Jim Kelly retired to find a replacement. The Dolphins have been searching. You go on and on. Jerry Jones gave you actual substance. Hey, man, you may not love him, but if I was to fire him, he'd have 5 jobs already offered to him, and I wouldn't have a candidate who's a locked-up cinch that I know can succeed in this environment with these players. When you take into context our season, where it was going, the general feeling around the building, we made one trade, and we won our division and won a playoff game, and lost in a competitive game to a really good team? Like, this knee-jerk last game is who you are is dumb. That is prisoner of the moment. That is fan stuff. I actually thought you saw great leadership and understanding and context from Jerry Jones.